The crescent-shaped Republic of Croatia became part of Yugoslavia when that country was created after World War I. It remained part of Yugoslavia for 74 years, until it, along with Slovenia, declared its independence on June 25, 1991. Resistance to independence on the part of the Serbian population of Yugoslavia plunged the nation into a prolonged civil war. Area 21,851 square miles, 56,594 square kilometers. Population, 2020 Est. 4,033,000. Land and people. Croatia is made up of the territories of Dalmatia, most of Istria and Slavonia. The northeastern part is mostly flat and fertile and suitable for agriculture, while the southwestern part, in the Dinaric Alps, has a rugged terrain. The Sava and Drava rivers are the country's major waterways. Croatia is bounded by Slovenia and Hungary on the north, Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Montenegro on the east, and the Adriatic Sea on the south and west. The capital, Zagreb, is in the north. Ethnic Croats, a Slavic people, constitute about 80% of the population. They are largely Roman Catholic and speak a variant of the Serbo-Croatian language. Ethnic Serbs, most of whom are Orthodox Christian, make up about 6% of the population, and there are smaller numbers of Slavic Muslims, Hungarians, Slovenes, Italians, and others. Economy. Before World War II, Croatia had an economy based primarily on agriculture and cattle breeding. Grains, potatoes, sugar beets, and grapes were among its output. The discovery of rich petroleum fields and the expansion of light industry after the war greatly changed the region's character. The use of natural resources, such as hydroelectric power, coal, and bauxite, increased in Croatia after World War II. During the 1990s, Croatia attempted to make the move from a centrally planned economy to a free market system. However, the outbreak of hostilities in Yugoslavia caused a rapid and sharp decline in the Croatian economy. The nation's gross domestic product, GDP, fell an estimated 20% in 1992. The Croatian tourist trade, which accounted for 82% of pre-war Yugoslavia's tourism revenues, suffered the greatest war-related economic loss. After the war ended in 1995, tourists again visited Croatia in large numbers and the economy enjoyed modest growth. History. The Croats began to settle in the lower Danube Valley in the 6th century. Croatia became a kingdom in the 10th century. It was conquered in 1091 by Ladislas I of Hungary, and a union was formed with Hungary that lasted for 8 centuries. Croatia became an autonomous Hungarian crownland in 1868. In 1918 it was proclaimed independent from its previous ties with Hungary and Austria, and, with other provinces, it entered into a union known as the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes. The new state was renamed Yugoslavia in 1929, with King Alexander, a Serb, establishing a royal dictatorship. Discontent soon began to rise in Croatia, where many began to argue for the creation of a federation allowing Croatia more autonomy. In 1934, King Alexander was assassinated by Croatian separatists while on a state visit to France, and a regency headed by Prince Paul, the king's cousin, took power. After a separatist party captured 80% of the vote in the Croatian elections of 1938, negotiations concerning political reform began between the central government and Croatian political leaders. In 1939 an agreement was reached that gave Croatia autonomy over its affairs except for defense and foreign affairs. World War II broke out soon afterward, however, and Croatia became an independent state under German and Italian influence in 1941. The Ustaše regime that ruled wartime Croatia carried out a brutal persecution of the nation's Serbs, Jews, and Roma, Gypsies. More than 350,000 Serbs were massacred by the regime during the war, including thousands at the notorious Jasenovac concentration camp. In 1945 Croatia was rejoined with Yugoslavia, which became a People's Republic ruled by Josip Broz Tito, a Croat. The communist hold on Croatia lasted until 1990, when the spirit of reform that was spreading throughout Eastern Europe led the government to hold multi-party elections. The Croatian Democratic Union, led by Franjo Tuđman, triumphed in those elections. Croatia declared its independence from Yugoslavia on June 25, 1991, and Yugoslav federal troops invaded. When appeals from the European Communities, EC, and the United States failed to stop the civil war, the EC recognized the independence of Croatia and Slovenia. Attempts at a ceasefire worked until Bosnia and Herzegovina declared independence. A bloody civil war soon consumed this province, pitting Serbs, Croats, and Muslims against each other. Nearly 1 million refugees from Bosnia and Herzegovina flooded into Croatia by 1994, prompting the nation's government to appeal for international humanitarian and financial aid. The Krajina and eastern Slavonia regions of Croatia had been annexed by Serbia during the Civil War, but a Croatian military offensive in August 1995 succeeded in recapturing Krajina, and Serbia returned eastern Slavonia in 1998. In November 1995, the leaders of Croatia, Serbia, and Bosnia and Herzegovina signed a peace agreement ending the four-year-old war in Bosnia. Tudjman, Croatia's first president, died in 1999, and his Croatian Democratic Union was defeated in special elections held in 2000. The country joined the World Trade Organization later that year. You can subscribe to support our channel and turn on the notification bell to be notified of new videos.